What up guys, it's Jules here, aka your Southwest Savage for WhatCulture.com, here with another episode of the most insane things happening in wrestling this week. Now, as per usual, there's a lot to cover, so let's make like Theresa May has got her teeth on a curb and get to stepping! I hate politics. Right, so when I saw the War Games match stipulation for the first time, I pissed myself laughing. So Phil was over at my house and we were watching this on NXT, and for a good old while we were chuckling to ourselves at just how complicated this match type seemed to be. We even went back and watched the original War Games matches, and boy howdy, was that a car crash inside a skip fire delivered by Adam Cleary, because it was poorly delivered. Then that laughter faded into a sense of awe, because I honestly have not seen a match as fun and exhilarating as this in ages. It took the bloated and made it relevant. Oh, it was good. We even got hard-way blood from Alexander Wolf, so that was pretty top-notch. It was a sick spot fest filled with all types of carnage and chaos, and both rings were used really well. I didn't for a second think, nah, this is pointless. It was great fun. New stars emerged, existing talent cemented their spot, and even struggling performers got their chance to shine. Put simply, it was cracking stuff, and as insane in execution as it was in theory for the WWE to suggest it in the first place. Triple H has something of an ego, in case you hadn't noticed. If you were to think of his happy place, it would probably be him riding down a ramp on a giant golden motorbike, coming out of the mouth of a skull with a crown on its head, because after all, he is the King of Kings, in case you had forgotten that. And as he rides slowly down, with Motorhead playing on loop, he passes all the titles he's won in his career, all held up by a harem of women, of all these beautiful women dressed as warriors. And he looks at them and he nods, and then he looks up at the sky, and it's just all of his match victories played back to back against like Goldberg, against Kurt Angle, just all of them just play back to back to back. And he stands there and he nods, and Stephanie passes him some bottled water. He spits it up into the air, and it forms a rainbow that says, "You did it, you f***ing weapon." Yeah. Or something like that. Or actually, more grounded version, the men's match at Survivor Series. This match was him on full ego mode. Now, I'm not saying that the beginning was, because after all, he actually tussled with the NXT to main roster superstars, and people actually thought that it was going to be a changing of the guard. People got their hopes up. Oh, how foolish we were, because by the end of this ring-told pantomime, Triple H had managed to get himself 3 potential WrestleMania opponents. How do you even manage that? Because it was obviously Shane, Kurt Angle, and Braun Strowman. How do you manage that? And he was doing it all while wearing his own t-shirt. God, sometimes you have to be in wonder of the guy. His actions dominated the storyline towards the end of this match. And before you say, oh, he put Braun over, did he though? Did he actually do it because it was better for Braun, or did he do it because it was actually better for him? Effectively, him saying, "You, O monster among men, thou art worthy of taking me to WrestleMania, which I will probably win." That seems more likely for ha, doesn't it? Right, okay, so a great wrestling faction should really have the same stylistic tones. It's what gets them over as a group and a unified front. I mean, take the Four Horsemen, for example. They wore suits, so therefore you knew that they were above you. The Nation of Domination, they had their colour schemes that paid reference to their traditions, so that was them. The Shield, they kind of wore the same, and then Roman decided to wear his own t-shirt as 5 6, but you know what I mean. Even Phil and I, our tag team, the Legion of Dude. Yeah, dude,
pinky sweet me, dude.
Yeah, that's what it is. We've got beards, so that's something.
Dude.
Fuck off. You get the idea, but apparently WWE Creative didn't, because this week on Raw they brought Paige back, yay! But they instantly put her with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Okay, so you've got a goth, a cheerleader, and a kickboxer. 3 people who have 0 chemistry, about as much chemistry as a maths lesson. And let me tell you, the numbers weren't adding up. Paige coming back is great, and you know what? I'm glad to see her back on TV. However, Doesn't this move sting a little bit of the WWE being a bit worried that she might throw a wobbly again? So they're putting her with a team to prop her back up? Went a bit Western Farmer there. Prop her back up. Do you think they're trying to prop her back up? I'm just going to keep saying it. Prop her back up. All in all, that's not too insane, except, oh wait, they did the exact same storyline the next night on SmackDown. What? Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. A goth, a cheerleader, and an MMA-inspired fighter. What are you doing? Why? Why bring these guys up only 24 hours after you've debuted PMS, which is definitely going to be their new team name? It's hurting these wrestlers, and it's really strange for fans. Now remember, this is the same night that Shane O'Mac came down to the ring and said even though his team came up short, SmackDown was the show to watch. Well, Shane, mate, I've got to tell you, if you're going to put bigger names on the other show and do the exact same thing, well, I know which one I'm going to watch. Both of them, because I have to, because it's work. The McMahons have been on form, even for them this week. God, they're a weird bunch. Obviously, at Survivor Series, we saw Shane O'Mac and Triple H spit roast all of their new talent, basically positioning themselves as the hardest men in wrestling today, even though between them, they've probably been in the ring for, what, about 3 hours total this year? Shane especially took the piss, actually, when he was staying in Kurt Angle's ankle lock for like 5 minutes. I was like, come on, mate. Really? And then, do you remember, he beat off Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with a chair like they were a bunch of cheeky whippets trying to get at the Christmas ham. It's a metaphor. I tell you what, actually, Shane going mental on those two actually is a perfect visual metaphor for his fear, for the whole McMahon's fear of becoming made irrelevant by full-time wrestlers on their own damn show. How awful that would be if that happened. And then we come to Stephanie, who had the spiciest, most quintessential line of the entire show. When Daniel Bryan came up to her and said that putting Triple H into the match was nepotism, she responded with, "It's Triple H!" Like that was the be-all and end-all of the conversation. The McMahons have created some amazing and wonderful things, but Jesus Christ, are they a bunch of deluded, arrogant arseholes sometimes. Can't wait for Stephanie to go through a table again. Please let it happen. And finally, there were some strange rumors that were made real this week. It turns out that Hideo Itami is indeed going to 205 Live. Now, this might not seem like a big deal immediately, but when you remember that this guy was Kenta, the Kenta, and is now forced to work on the least respected division going in the WWE right now, after he'd been like the originator of the go to sleep and influenced wrestlers in the West for years, this seems more like a punishment, doesn't it? I mean, to be fair, as Hideo Itami in the WWE, he's been injury prone and just a bit of an afterthought. And it's not going to help when he's clearly going to go back into this division, right? And Enzo Amore is going to verbally castrate him, which is definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen because I realized this the other day that Enzo Amore is literally Vince McMahon's thought process on the division, but given a microphone. It's terrifying. He gets to say what he wants and just berate and destroy all of the other competitors in there. And no one has a problem with it. Put bluntly, he's not going to get a push in this situation. Or even if he does, where is that glass ceiling that he's going to hit so very, very hard, so very, very quickly? With rumors turning into reality, it does spark a new playground whisper. And if you listen carefully, it goes something like this. Kenta, mate. Off back to Japan, you'll do loads better. And those have been the most insane things happening in wrestling this week. Now, as per usual, I'm going to end the show the only way I know how, by reading out my favourite comment from last week's episode. I'm a tad bit disappointed that every What Culture video doesn't end with Jules punching Adam Wilborn's head off. Can we get some more of that, please? Sure. Give it time. And there we have it. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode down in the comment section below, because I might read out your comment next week. You never know. And as always, don't know what I was doing with that. Go back to whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. And as always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon. You're welcome.
So, thanks for watching. Please feel free to click on any of these things around my head, or something terrible might happen to the dog. Too sweet me, bro. Traitor. Traitor. Bye.